Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the first video of the year, which was originally filmed 2 weeks ago, at least, maybe a week ago, probably about a week ago. Actually, no, it was probably about 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I had recorded my 2026 books that I want to read in 2026, and then when I went to go pull the clips, the main clip was corrupted, and then when I was trying to move clips and do a couple of other things, my entire computer didn't want to work, and then when I tried to refilm it, the internet didn't want to work, and so I am taking the deepest breath I possibly can, and we're going to retry it all again, because if it doesn't work this time, I might actually lose my mind. However, this time, to avoid the internet fiasco, I downloaded the PowerPoint that I planned on using to show off my books. So I will just, screen record that. And I did find out that on PowerPoint, you can put your camera up in the little corner circle. However, I'm not entirely sure if I could use this camera rather than my computer camera. So until I figure that out, let's just get into the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. Now, preface, I like to go into my books completely blind. I will not be explaining the summary of any of these books, especially because I am slightly irritated. I will explain to you why they're on my TBR more than likely, and a few other things if I feel it is necessary to explain anything about these books. Most of these books are either on my TBR because there's something I want to read, they're popular, or they have been on my physical TBR for way too long, and if I don't read them this year, then they probably should no longer be on my physical TBR. Yes, I am using a chopstick, by the way, if anyone is wondering. I actually kind of like it. It's kind of cute. Anyway, so for the 26 books that I want to read in 2026, the first one that we have is Persuasion by Jane Austen. I was supposed to read this for a class, and I still really want to read it, so it's still on my TBR. I don't know if I'm going to need to read it for the class anymore, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to take that class, if that makes any sense. The next book that we have is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Love it. Haven't read it. Want to read it. Then I want to watch it, because I haven't watched any of the movies yet, because I have kind of every time I go to start it, I'm like, I'd rather read the book first, and then I just haven't gotten around to reading the book, and I finally have a physical copy of it, so we'll be reading that this year, hopefully, at some point. Then we have The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I have watched every single movie. Love them, everyone that's out so far, at least. And want to read all of the books before the next movie comes out in November. So I think I can do it. I believe in myself. Next we have Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. Regency, cozy, fantasy. Sounds exactly up my alley, in my personal opinion. Because I love Regency. I don't know. I just love the aesthetic, the style and the aesthetic. Next, we have Wicked by Gregory Maguire. I have watched Wicked recently with one of my best friends, and now I want to watch Wicked for good. But I also kind of want to read the book, so it's also on my list. That's all. I also physically own it because I found it somewhere in a thrift store last year, and yeah. Then we have Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu. This is on my TBR because I always wanted to read Manacled, but I am not a Hermione person. I do not like Hermione. Draco and Hermione, I'm not a huge fan of it, so I'm hoping that I can just pretend like it's not those two, and it's a completely different thing. And it literally has nothing to do with how people portray them in movie, in any of their fan fiction. It's just, I don't necessarily like that pairing. That's all. I'm definitely more of a Draco Harry person. Draco Astoria, I'm more likely to go Harry and Hermione before I would Draco and Hermione. And I don't even like Harry and Hermione because they're like siblings to me. Anyway, then we have Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I want to read this so bad. A, it is popular. B, I honestly kind of love MLMs and hockey romances. Amazing. Sign me up. Not to mention, I heard it was likely a Steve Bucky fanfic originally. And, that's great. If it's Draco Harry even, I don't care. Either way, I still want to read it. Then we have God of Malice by Rena Kent. I have a couple of dark romances on this list, I believe, because I kind of read them more as palette cleansers, like between my fantasy and my romance, because that is typically what I read. So, yeah, this book is on here. I also really want to get to know I kind of just want to dabble my toes in everything. Okay, I like to be a little bit of everything. I like to read a little bit of everything. I just have the genres I tend to read more often, if that makes any sense. I don't like the fact that my hair tucked behind my ears makes me look like I'm bald. Next, we have The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name. Please tell me how to pronounce it correctly. I have had this book since high school. It was a high school book club book, and I haven't read it, and I own it, and I need to read it, or I need to get rid of it. That is why this one is on the list. I'm kind of hoping I get to it because it does sound interesting from the little tiny tidbits of information that I know about it. Also, the name and the cover just kind of look really cool, at least the copy I have. Then I have The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. I read the first two, and then I started this one. This is the third book in the Percy Jackson series. I think I had just met Nico and Bianca, and then I stopped reading. I don't remember why, but this is another book that I never read as a kid when I really should have read it as a kid, especially because I've always been a Greek mythology person. I love Greek mythology. Fun fact. Then we have City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, another really, really popular book series that I started to read in high school. I started to read the first book, but I keep hitting this point where I remember that it's Ron and Jenny fanfiction, and then I'm like, ugh. But I am planning on reading it this year because I have seen many other people read it, and they've had really good thoughts about it. I'm like, I kind of want to get on board. I kind of want to join. I kind of want to see what all of this hubbub is about. Then we have The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. This is a book I literally know nothing. I don't even think I know the main character's name. But it's a book that I own the trilogy to, and I've had for years because it was a gift. And I haven't read it, so I need to read it. Or I need to unhaul it. Those are my two options this year. Then we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I read Beach Read, love Beach Read, want to read Book Lovers. Also, I own it. Next book we have is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Again, own it, want to read it, love Emily Henry, read Beach Read, I think is the one that I've read, and I absolutely ate that book up. I am currently reading People We Meet on Vacation. I'm on page 60 something. But I am currently reading this because I want to watch the movie too, and I want to read it before I watch the movie. So, also, I will say one thing. I already have a little pet peeve with the movie, and it's why do they not look like what they're described as in the book? They are literally described. But also, I absolutely love the actor. Oh, I guess, my mouse has decided that we're going on to the next book, which is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is another book. I own both of them. I own Divine Rivals and what's the second one? Ruthless Vows. I own them both. They're on my bookshelf. I want to read them both, or I need to unhaul them. I have a lot of books on my physical TBR that I have not read because I tend to read things that are more popular. I need to stop that because I want to read all of these books either way. Then we have Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller. I read Daughter of the Pirate King a couple years ago, and I really want to continue this duology. I don't know if it's trilogy. I don't know where it went after the first book. I know I really liked the first book because I love pirates. Greek mythology and pirates. And probably a few other things as they come up I'll probably say are my favorite thing because everything's my favorite thing. Fun little fact. Then we have Circe by Madeline Miller. It's a Greek story. It's Greek. I have no other reason as to why I want to read it. It's Greek. It's based off of a Greek mythology sort of thing. I want to read it. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've had this book since since high school. It was a book club book that I have yet to read. I own all three books. I own Caraval, Legendary, and Finale, and Once Upon a Broken Heart. Haven't read a single one of them. So I need to read it. Then we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber as well on here because even if I don't like Caraval, I'm still going to read Once Upon a Broken Heart because, I've heard that you don't have to, but like it's suggested that you do. So like obviously I'm going to try to start with Caraval, and then if I don't like it, I'm just going to try to read Once Upon a Broken Heart anyway. I'm like 99% sure I'll at least like Caraval because I'm pretty good with picking books that I know that I'll like, and also I will stop reading books if I don't like them. Then we have Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I read Icebreaker. I loved it. I own Wildfire, and I need to read it. And I don't care what anyone says. I pretend the epilogue does not exist in Icebreaker because I can. Then we have Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. Another dark romance about the Four Horsemen. That's about all I know. Want to read it? End of story. I own it. This is another one I own. I own quite a few of these. Then we have Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. I'm pretty sure I absolutely butchered that last name, but I have read Serpent and Dove. Loved it. Need to continue the series. You know, I also need to start finding books that aren't beginnings of series because I have too many. Then we have The Constant Princess by Philippa Gregory. This is a story of one of the queens in England at one point. Like, it's a fictional story of that. And again, I love that era, and I kind of just want to I want to read it. Okay, I love Bridgerton. I feel like it's definitely like right up my alley sort of thing. Then we have City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. I don't know much about this book other than that I've heard really good things about it. Like, I've heard a lot of positive reviews. I know it is extremely long. However, I am definitely wanting to read it. And I understand this is not one I own. However, I do know that I likely will get the audiobook or something through my library. Because I'm not buying any more books until I've read a good chunk of the ones that I own. I just really want to read this. I really do not know why. It just pulls me in. It's like, come and read us. Come read. Come on. It's like calling to me. Anyway. Then we have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This one, it's a 12 Dancing Princesses story. One of my favorite Barbie movies is 12 Dancing Princesses. And so obviously 12 Dancing Princesses. I want to read that. I want to read that so bad. Probably don't own this. We'll probably get it from the library, but it has been on my TBR for so long. It has been on my radar for way too long that I feel like I need to read it because I'm just getting more and more antsy about wanting to read it. So maybe this will give me a reason to actually find it and read it. And then last, but certainly not least, we have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I have not read it. I have not read a single Frida McFadden book ever. However, I would like to read this one and then watch the movie, because if there's any way to get me to want to watch something or want to read something in particular, a movie that comes out and then gets good reviews, I'm going to want to read that book. Because then I'm going to want to watch the movie because I want to know what's going on. But obviously I don't want to do movie then book because, the only movies I've ever done movie then book for was actually pretty much everything I've ever read. But like Harry Potter, I watched all of the movies because I was obsessed with the movies as a kid. Never read the books as a kid, probably because they were definitely intimidating, and I was very much a Junie B. Jones and Magic Tree House kid. And then my mom made me go make friends outside, and then I never really picked up a book until high school. Until middle school. And then in middle school, I read the first 3 books of the Harry Potter series, and then the 4th one in like a matter of a week, and then burnt myself out on reading for a while. And then I just haven't gone back to the Harry Potter series because I'm a little nervous it's just going to burn me out again. But I have slowly but surely been listening to audiobooks that I've gotten from like the library because I don't want to support the author, but this is definitely a series that has like near and dear meanings to my heart due to the amount of things of this series. The movies purely got me through as a kid, and being delusional thinking that I was going to end up going to Hogwarts. Those movies genuinely have such an impact on my life to where the fact that they were my main personality for a good chunk of time, like probably until I was like 16 or 17, Harry Potter was a good chunk of my personality. And I'm 20, almost 23 now, so there's been a lot of growth reading is more my personality now. I just like to read and watch movies. I'm currently watching Supernatural. Actually, I'm absolutely enjoying Supernatural. Obviously, I mean, I don't know if I say it in my vlog, but I have seen up to season 8 of Supernatural, but I am really enjoying it. Anyway, that is all for this video. I'm going to stop yapping, and I'm going to continue with the rest of my plans that I have for today, one of which being a doctor's appointment, which I'm not looking forward to. But I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you guys have a lovely morning, evening, night, wherever you are.